Book club segment. Yeah, 2 months late. Ooh. And it's because I chose a really difficult book to read. Way more difficult than Harry Potter. But not as difficult as Azkaban. That was disturbing. But I've got something here that I think is of great use to anybody who is looking to improve themselves significantly in life. And that is So Much Wisdom. Probably the most philosophical book I've ever read in my life. Word Power Made Easy by Norman Lewis. Had to check up his name again. Look, that's why it took me months. It's because this fucking thing has put me back on my goal. I was trying to read 50 books this year. Not even close now thanks to this fucking thing. But at the end of it, I think it was worth it. And that's definitely because most of the books that you read in life are going to be bad. But there is this principle that says that one simple idea changes your life. And if you just find that one simple idea, all of the reading beforehand was completely worth it. Because that one changing of idea, that could times 10 your income. But you just need to find it. So you need to be perpetually reading. But I've got to stop using the word perpetually, don't I? How ironic in a book about word power made easy. The reason I started reading this is because I came across a study that was talking about these people that they started teaching them a word a day for, I think it was a year. Could have been 2 years. No, it was a year. I love how I just sit here and think to myself for long periods of time. No, but bear with me, don't fast forward this. But what happened is they taught these people a word a day for a year. So they learned 365 more words. Now, obviously, these words were targeted. But the point remains valid, that the people started moving up in their careers. Their social circles changed. The people they hung out with, they got into better relationships. And it was all because their vocabulary changed. And why did all of these great benefits happen? Because a couple of their words done got purtier. And the reason is because when you are able to think in more complicated sentences, first of all, you're able to articulate to yourself what you want better out of a situation, as well as articulate to people a better picture of what you want. And on top of that, you're able to think more nuanced. And the difference is, this is the major reason why most people hate the mainstream media is because, except for dumbasses. And the reason the dumbasses watch the mainstream media and go, oh, The Project, I just can't handle any more than that, is because they're talking in a language that's aimed at year 7 people. And actually, I think that is the general target audience of most newspapers in the country as well. They aim it at somebody who has graduated year 7. The reason they do that is because they're trying to attract dumb people, because dumb people are more susceptible into buying stupid shit. And so, what happens is, when you are able to think in more nuanced thoughts, first of all, you don't get as outraged. It automatically just acts as a way for you to become more Buddhist in life. So your whole life is kind of just like, well, I mean, that is a perplexing thing, but also, elementably, there is worse things that are facing this. I was trying to make that sentence sound fancy. But ended up just using words from The Simpsons. How good is The Simpsons, by the way? That is the original word power made easy with hilarious gags. Sadly, there is not as many in here. Although there are things in here that I just thought, Norman, classic you. So that's another thing that is with it. It's surprisingly funny. It's not. It's just a workbook. This is a workbook that you got when you were like, yeah, I'm going to do well in the basic skills test in year 5. It's one of those. And you know what? They're actually fun to do because it's been a long time, but your brain gets exercised in a different way. It's just like, do you remember what vociferous means? And so obviously what happens is because you're able to think more nuanced and you're able to paint more detailed pictures and more precise pictures, you're able to get people, you're able to say to people what you want more clearly. So many screw ups. We're just going to power on. Like power. Just don't focus on the word part, just the power bit. And so look, what he's talking about is that it's a very interesting study, which is that the highest earning people in society, in general, there's a lot of dumbasses that don't. So for instance, I'm not imagining that Cardi B's vocabulary is exactly huge, but I've never met her. Maybe it's all an act. I don't know. She's a rapper though, so she must know some words. Look, they say to these people that what they've noticed is that people who are in positions of power, so CEOs, people that own huge hedge funds, these people have a much higher vocabulary than the average citizen. The average citizen has anything between 2 to 10,000 words. And a real Lodge Day Dallas has something around the lines of 25,000. There's some people that have even more words than that, but they have the best words. Somewhere in between that is the top 1% of society. And the reason that they got there is a lot to do with the fact that they are able to communicate better than most people. They are able to construct clearer sentences. Not just clearer sentences, better sentences. Sentences that put images in your head. And as we've talked about in previous videos, if you're able to put images in people's heads, you are able to direct their thought patterns. So there is huge advantages to you doing it. And conversely, guess who are the people who have the smallest vocabularies in our society? Prisoners. Prisoners on average, and I've talked to people that have been in prisons before, and they say that pretty much they know 2 words. Dog, cunt, fucking dog, cunt. And so everything to them, as a result of that, because they don't have this rich vocabulary to choose from, where they can sit there and go, am I depressed at the moment, or am I feeling a little bit down, blue? Am I feeling a little bit cheekily sad? Ooh. You're not able to combine words. You're not able to think about words in different ways. Am I just feeling a little bit miffed? They don't have any of those words. All they have is dog, cunt, fucking spewing. And as a result of that, that becomes their experience. This is what's very, why, as my friend said once, why do you think they call it spelling? Could you magic? Clearly not the reason, but anyway, it's a nice way to remember it, which is that words are, in their way, a form of witchcraft. In that, especially on your own experiences in life, the way that you relay them, the words you choose to relay back to you, every single word is emotionally charged. And dumb people, kind of like dogs, how dogs have some emotions, but nowhere near as much emotions as human beings, and so they have really basic emotions, such as happy, sad, pissed off. That's the same as prisoners. I'm not laying on them, because usually most prisoners come from really poor backgrounds and had their head beaten as kids. It's going to be hard for them to just like, in between getting your head smacked in with wood, read Norman Lewis's Word Power Made Easy. Though I do highly recommend it. Even if you are getting your head beaten in. And so, as a result of being able to poorly select the language that they use, the results are that they become more dog-like, which is why they keep using the word dog, I'm imagining. Fucking dog! Is because they can't make the experiences that they're sharing more nuanced. They can't draw into it. They can't see anything that might be like a different way of looking at it. They've just got very simple ways of looking at the world as a result of their tiny language patterns. It's so good because I clearly don't have that good of a grasp on the English language. I think I'm really good at communicating. I don't think I'm that learned. So anyway, the point is, I made myself sad. The point is, and definitely just sad. You should check this book out because, and this is what I think is really good about it, is that what you're choosing out of this book, but what is mostly teaching you is the Latin and Greek roots of words. And so as a result of just learning those Latin and Greek roots, obviously because our language is based off of a lot, plagiarism, we can, like one root of a word. So for instance, nox for night in Latin. So what does that give you? Nocturnal, right? And other words. Ooh, I'm needed in the basement. It's the catchphrase of this channel. Something stolen from The Simpsons. But anyway, I think that as a result of you learning these Latin root words, what happens is when you're reading and you come across a word that you don't recognize, and I've started to see it now. I see words. What you start seeing is that you are able to guess what the word is. And then as a result of being able to guess what the word is and then looking it up in the dictionary, it's not just like when you normally look it up in the dictionary and you go, oh, fuck, again, because you've got something to base it off. So as a result, it's easier to remember. That's the true genius of Word Power Made Easy. That's why I think that you should read it. That's why I think that you should, even if it wipes off a lot of other things that you should be reading, I think this is actually more important because of the studies that have been shown on people who have large vocabularies at their command and where they end up in life. It is not a coincidence. There is too much data to back this up. And I think that as a result of this, I'm going to start reading just more of them. I think I'm going to go back to learning Latin. I remember learning it on my own. God, I'm not weird. And I think that, like, again, when I was reading these, I went, oh, that's right. And it reminded me again. I think I'm just going to start doing it. I'm going to start aiming to read about one of these every 3 months, but obviously in between reading other books, because I'm not going to just sit there and focus on this the whole time and go, yay, I'm learning. But I think if you've got any other books that you think increase your vocabulary, please put them in the comments. See you next week. Get yourself a copy, and if you can't find this, any word power book. See ya, bye. Thought I'd forget, didn't you? Well, I did. But make sure you like the video. Thank you.